Did this so-called Halo killer really achieve its goals back in the day? Imagine booting up KILLZONE on the PS2 emulator in 2025, patched to run in widescreen at 60 frames per second. You're stepping into a world you never saw back in 2004. Right away, those shades of brown and grey hit you, the kind of colour palette that feels dusty and grim. The Helgas soldiers stand there with their helmets gleaming in the low light, and you can hear gunfire in the distance crackling in your headphones. It's clear Guerrilla Games wanted to build a heavy and realistic, in the trenches, sci-fi war story, and that mood still sticks, even now. Without any old hype or nostalgia, you play more like someone exploring a lost game. The smoother frame rate makes things look cleaner, but it doesn't change how the controls feel. Movement is still a bit slow, the camera swings around more than you'd like, to the point it may be nauseating to some, especially when combined with not the so good frame rate, even when patched to run at 60 FPS. Oddly enough, choking up on that tension can be part of the fun. Every reload becomes a little moment of worry, every slow vault over a barrier feels like a test of timing. It's clunky, but I at least respect what they were going for. As you move through the missions, the story keeps you guessing. You find yourself wondering who's really in the right, the humans or the Helghast. The dialogue is okay, even funny at times as the banter between characters develop and the actors do a convincing job. But sometimes the game doesn't explain the background well, or at least I did not understand it. You hear hints about colonists changing when they lived on Helghan, or big companies pulling strings, but you stop now and then to check a wiki for the full picture. Then there's the shooting. Even with the 60 frames per second patch, aiming feels pretty bad. The reticle is so big that it makes aiming harder than it should be. It feels like the game is trying to make you miss on purpose. The only gun that feels good to aim is Luger's starting gun. It has a really accurate reticle where the shots actually go where you are pointing. The shotgun doesn't pack a punch the way you expect. There's little kick and it sounds weak. The sniper rifle takes forever to line up a shot, and the scope can get in your own way. There is something about the way they coded the scope, it makes you feel like you are playing one of those arcade Gun-Con games instead of actually aiming like you would expect in a 2004 FPS. The weapons sway a lot. They're trying to feel realistic, but end up feeling just a bit awkward. Throwing grenades and aiming some of the grenade launchers feels specially difficult. At the core, shooting just doesn't feel as satisfying as you'd hope. One neat thing is the choice of characters: Templar, Luger, Rico or Hacker. Luger's supposed to be the stealthy one with gadgets. Though the sneaking mechanics aren't great, she was my favourite. Thanks to her starting gun I mentioned, she felt nicer and faster to control, and you can actually aim with her. The problem is that it is harder to find bullets for her gun. Rico feels like a walking tank and feels almost OP at times. Loved that starting machine gun. If I wanted to make it easier for myself, I picked that guy. Hacker uses Helghast gear and traps, heals faster than ordinary humans due to his Helghast heritage, and he can bypass Helghast secure areas as Helghast sensors and mines do not detect him. Templar is the all-rounder. Nothing special, but not bad. This setup makes you replay missions to try out different playstyles. The levels are quite varied. You go from war-torn trenches to city streets, jungles, deserts and snowy mountains, so when it comes to level variety, I think the game does an okay even good job. The problem with variety is the enemies. By the end of the game you start to get tired of fighting the same old enemies. I have to say, the emulation wasn't perfect and it had severe unfixable stutter problems that may have tainted my first playthrough. By the end of the game I was regretting playing the PS2 version when the PS3 HD remaster version is so much better. You are looking at it right now, running on the PS3 emulator with a much better frame rate and field of view mod. They also fixed my problem with the sniper gun in this version. It feels much better to aim with it, and as you can see it now display a dot circle in the middle of the reticle showing where the bullet will go. By the time you finish the campaign, you see why KILLZONE was respected, even if it never felt perfect. The story and character banter held your interest, though it could have been clearer. The world building, through music, sound effects, and level art, still sets a solid war atmosphere. But the gameplay starts to show its age. My biggest gripe being the imprecise weapons. If only they could fix that in a modern re-release of the game, I think it would take it from a 7 out of 10 to an 8 of 10, being a little generous. Think of KILLZONE on PS2 as an important step in console FPS history. It's where Guerrilla Games jumped into stardom, and you can see ideas they polish in later titles like KILLZONE 2. If you're curious about how shooters grew up, especially on consoles, it's worth playing. Just don't expect a super tight shooter by today's standards. It's more of a window into past ambition, and how cool ideas met tough hardware limits. Hope you liked this video about my first time playing KILLZONE in 2025. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment and subscribe for more videos like this one. What score would you give to this game? Leave a comment below. Goodbye.